Tallahassee. I'm meteorologist Jay Carstens, and if you stepped outside at any point today, you probably thought to yourself, whoa, it was a really hot one, and that's still holding true as we get the 6 o'clock hour here at 82 degrees currently in the capital city. As you see this time lapse right behind me showing off these beautiful partly cloudy skies. Southerly winds at 9 miles per hour, filtering in some of that moisture out of the Gulf of Mexico, and that's going to be the recurring trend as we work through these next, say, 24 hours or so with the approach of yet another cold front to our area. Current temperatures across the Big Bend region, really warm, 84 in Valdosta, 86 degrees in Bainbridge. Some of the first times we've been getting that hot across southwestern Georgia, even in Tallahassee, really, for the entirety of 2018 so far. A little bit cooler by the coast, only at 75 degrees currently in Apalachicola. And again, the big story here is these winds out of the south pretty much everywhere across the board. 17 miles per hour, getting rather gusty in areas like Monticello, Thomasville, even here in Tallahassee. Started off out of the southeast this morning and beginning that gradual turn, which is indicative of, again, the approach of another cold front, as we're going to see in this future cast here for the next 24 hours. Tomorrow morning and into the early afternoon is really going to be our sort of hot spot for rain potential around here. We could even see a potential strong thunderstorm or two, despite the fact that we are not currently outlined in any sort of severe risk by the Storm Prediction Center. This is all part of a rather ominous-looking line of convection that's going to be sweeping across the entirety of the southeast, already triggering a little bit of severe weather. But for the week ahead, thunderstorms tomorrow, a few days of sunshine, and a cold front going to be moving its way through it once again this weekend. We'll have more on that later in the show, but for now, this is FSU weather.
Good evening, Tallahassee. I'm student meteorologist Michael Anand.
And I'm student meteorologist Sarah Converse.
And as Jake was saying, Sarah, it was a really warm one out there.
It was.
Honestly, when I was walking towards the studio today, it was really warm. It felt like the beginning of summer, not the beginning of April.
Yeah, it was really hot outside. I was really sweaty when I was walking to my classes. It was a bit miserable out, but we did have that wind come through, which we're going to see these winds picking up as this cold front will approach our area, which stay tuned. We'll be having more on when that cold front will come, how to prepare for that cold front, and also, even in the big picture, how that cold front's affecting other areas besides Tallahassee.
Yeah, we did have a pleasant few days, but now the changes are coming because of that cold front. We're going to see a lot of cold fronts over the next week. One tomorrow, one this weekend, and one maybe into next week. We'll see about that. Also in the show, we're going to go into, this week's the Masters. All of us here are excited for it. Jake and I are just a few of us here in the studio just waiting for Thursday morning when the first tee shot from Augusta comes off. So it's a busy week here at FSU weather, not just in weather, but also in other things outside of weather.
Very active start to the month of April, as I can't believe we're finally in the month of April, to be honest.
Yeah, it has changed quickly, and some parts are still seeing snow. We'll get into that, but for now, let's send it back to Jake with the first look of our local forecast.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Really nothing but blue skies throughout the entirety of the day as we get this time lapse going for the entirety of the afternoon here. A little bit of increased cloud cover as we work through the afternoon hours as we started to see this Gulf moisture filtering in out of the south. Otherwise, not really anything problematic to speak of unless, of course, you aren't a fan of temperatures near 85 degrees. Currently, still very warm at 82, as I've outlined about a minute ago or so. Winds are out of the south at 9 miles per hour, and you see this breeze really starting to pick up through the entirety of the day across our area, with some gusts getting in excess of 20 miles per hour through parts of the afternoon. The temperatures still warm, 84 in Valdosta, 80 degrees down to our southeast in Perry, and you see these contours. Pretty standard practice here, seeing a little bit cooler temperatures near the coast, especially with these southerly winds really helping to sort of moderate that daytime heating down there, as you'll see in areas like Apalachicola and Carabel. The temperature change really doesn't show you much of anything right now, just considering we haven't quite hit that cold front yet, but if we zoom that out, you would eventually start to see things really being interesting out in other parts of the south. southeast. Despite the southerly winds, the relative humidity has actually been fairly low, and that's really the main reason why we haven't seen any kind of rainfall today. 58% humidity in Perry, only 47 here in Tallahassee. Those dew points are largely around the 60-degree mark here, but you'll start to see those picking up as well over the next 24 hours, and I'll show you just why in a little bit. The wind speed and direction, south and southwest pretty much everywhere across the board. A little bit lighter by the coast, only 7 miles per hour in St. Marks, but 14 in Bainbridge, 13 in Quincy, out of the southwest. Again, bringing in some of that moisture at the lower levels and really starting to make things slightly uncomfortable. But that's not translating into any kind of rainfall. Parts of the peninsula are getting in on some of the fun, including Lake City, Gainesville, even into the Jacksonville metro. For Tallahassee, we're looking good for now until we get into parts of tomorrow morning, even overnight tonight. This futurecast shows you a pretty ominous looking band of rainfall. It's going to be sweeping across the southeast into our area in the late morning tomorrow. We could see the potential for a strong thunderstorm or two with this. However, we're not expecting anything too wild in terms of severe weather outbreak necessarily, but a healthy dose of rain is in our immediate future, so you'll want to keep that in mind if you're heading out to class at any point during the morning and afternoon hours. And this shows you really its progression through the entirety of the southeast, producing some severe weather in parts of the Ohio and Tennessee valleys, even draping down into parts of Texas, Louisiana, and Arkansas. Locally, for tonight, we're looking at a pretty mild night, 62 degrees here in Tallahassee, 67 in Apalachicola, some low temperatures that you may expect more in, say, May or June. And again, that's part of this approach of the cold front. And tomorrow's forecast, based on this trend, you'd think to yourself, well, why are those temperatures not in the mid to upper 80s? Well, look at this shading right here. The cold front will be passing us during the day here, really dropping our afternoon highs back down to about the 74-degree mark. So we're going to be looking at the potential to see these sorts of temperatures peaking in, say, the late morning hours. But for now, we're going to go back to the desk where Michael and Sarah are standing by.
We do have that cold front arriving into Tallahassee as we head into tomorrow morning, and it's a classic spring system right now in the Midwest and Ohio River Valley.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to be seeing a lot of, when we get into the national, we're going to bring you some, like, I know there's tornado watches, severe thunderstorm watches all up in the Ohio Valley, and all the way down to even Texas. So month of April is really looking like a very busy month for us weather-wise.
Yeah, behind the system you have snow up in Minneapolis and in North Dakota, South Dakota, all the northern plains states. They're getting some major snow up there. And also behind that, you're getting the gusty winds in the central plains in Nebraska, Oklahoma, and Texas. So we'll get more into that into our national picture. But for now, you're heading out to the wall with a look at Florida.
Yeah, definitely. All around, it is hot. Oh my goodness, if you're walking outside, it's hot all around Florida. Gainesville, though, is seeing a little bit cooler temperatures at 75 because they're seeing that rainfall in Jacksonville as well, those scattered showers from those sea breeze storms. But right now, Tallahassee's at 82, Tampa as well at 82 as well, and then down in Miami at 80. So all around, it is very warm outside. But that will soon change once this cold front comes through our area. As you can see, it's not really much of a temperature change. Gainesville, as you saw, is -6 because of those cooling down from those showers and that cloud cover. But these temperatures will drop a little bit by the time we get tomorrow into that cold front. All around, it is muggy outside, so girls need your hairspray on. It's just, this mugginess is going to stick around as this cold front is going to come through. Tampa sitting right now at 65, Tallahassee at 60, and down in Miami at 64. So it's really muggy outside. It will stick around because these winds are coming up from the south, which we'll see in this futurecast winds. They're coming up from the south since we're still under that high pressure system, which is really controlling our weather right now, but it will soon change by tomorrow. As you can see, this convergence zone coming in as the winds are coming from the north of that low pressure system moving into our area, bringing that rain and some of those cooler temperatures. It will move through the area of Florida by tomorrow. It will end by afternoon in northern Florida, and this will really change. And here's that radar. There's that scattered showers over by the Jacksonville, Gainesville area. And we see some of this fog will come up into the northern peninsula, which will affect the morning. But this cold front, it looks very ominous, as Jake said. It's going to be coming through, bringing a lot of rain into the Florida area. So we'll see some scattered showers. So make sure as you go off to your work, make sure if you go to school, bring your umbrella because it's going to be a rainy one. It's going to be a wet one. But for tonight, it's going to be pretty cool, a little bit on the warmer side since we'll have that cloud cover. Stick around for that cold front. 62 in Tallahassee, 69 in Tampa, and 67 in Fort Myers. So pretty nice. It's out, not too cold, but not too hot. But it will be a bit on the warmer side. But for tomorrow, you can see that cold front is sitting by Gainesville by tomorrow for those highs. So Tallahassee area, we're cooling down at 74, but South and Central Florida aren't really seeing much of that cool down. They're seeing still the 80s. So Tampa is still at 82, closer to my hometown, and 85 in Miami. So it's going to be a warm one for Florida. As that cold front will move through our area, that's really much of the big picture that we're going to be really seeing as we get on through the rest of the week. So pretty nice temperatures. It will cool down, but for now, I'm going to send it over back to the desk. Oh, I'm going to walk to the desk. I forgot. Woo! Here I come. Woo! I totally forgot.
So we were talking about obviously the approaching cold front of Florida, and this is going to have some pretty significant impacts with regards to the potential for both drought and fire situations going forward. Yeah,
especially when that high pressure system starts moving out into our area from that cold front. So a lot of areas of Florida are seeing that potential of fire. Most has been abnormal. Yeah, 13% or more.
Yeah, and this has been compounded recently by a worsening drought throughout the entirety of the state. We haven't had it as bad here in Tallahassee as we had some pretty substantial rain a couple of weeks ago, but really the entirety of the state south of Interstate 4 is listed as at least abnormally dry right now. So once we get those fronts to move through, the high winds and dry air behind it can be really beneficial for the spread of wildfires, which is obviously not good.
Yeah, no, so hopefully this cold front will come through, bringing rain into our area, bring down these dry conditions. Hopefully won't see too much of the fire risk.
Yeah, the more rain, the better for sure. But for now, we're going to go back out to Michael, who's at the wall with another local look.
Thanks, Jake. And let's take a look at our almanac. Right now, you can see we got up to 85 degrees. Jake, you were wondering, did we get up to 85 degrees? Yes, we did. And it was actually the warmest we've been ever since the late fall. So it's been a while since we've been this warm. We start out in the morning pretty average. Our average is 50 for this time of year. We started at 55. We did have that fog in the morning, so it was a very foggy morning, but it cleared out rather quickly by the time we got into the late morning hours. Currently, as Jake was mentioning earlier, it is 82 degrees, but we do have those southerly winds ahead of that front that's going to impact the region as we head into tomorrow morning into the early afternoon hours. So that's bringing in some of that moisture from the Gulf, fueling those showers and thunderstorms that will be impacting our area into tomorrow. Currently in Tallahassee, 82. Down towards Apalachicola, you are cooler because of the sea breeze with those winds coming out of the south at 75. 86 in Bainbridge, so it is pretty warm out there across the entire tri-state region. Now, again, these winds are coming out of the south, and they're pretty breezy here at Tallahassee. 14 miles per hour is your wind, 15 up towards Thomasville, and 17 out towards Monticello. So it is pretty breezy out there ahead of that cold front. Dew points are pretty moderate, though, ahead of this cold front. So 60 as Tallahassee, 69 down towards Apalachicola. That's because they're near the Gulf Coast, so that's why the dew point is much higher. These dew points will increase as we go into tonight and into tomorrow morning. Futurecast shows you how these clouds build ahead of the cold front. The cold front does arrive into our region at around 9, 10, 30 o'clock. It moves to Tallahassee at around 12 o'clock, and then we'll get another band of rain possibly during the early afternoon rush hour period. So it's going to be one of those gloomy, wet kind of days. So for tonight, 62 in Tallahassee, 62 in Thomasville. It's going to be warm ahead of that front and with those clouds building in, so we're not going to cool down that much really. And then to tomorrow, with the cloud cover and the rain due to that cold front, we're not going to get into the 80s, not even close. 74 in Tallahassee, 71 up towards Bainbridge. It will be warmer down towards Gainesville, where they'll have some more sunshine ahead of that cold front, so they'll probably get into the 80-degree mark. But for now, we're going to send off to Jake with a look at the national forecast.
All right, thanks a lot, Michael. And, well, we'll talk about the day planner here first for tomorrow. Again, you can expect to see some showers working into the early afternoon. And then that 7 days, I actually did not quite get to earlier on. Saturday is looking like our next chance for rain, so we'll want to keep an eye out for that at the 60% chance. But for now, if we move on to the national, this is really where the games begin for tonight's show, because we got plenty going on in the southeastern part of the country, as this temperature outline can even show you, because we have a well-defined cold front stretching through the Midwest down into parts of Texas, as well as this warm front right over here through the Ohio Valley. This is our hot spot for severe weather, right in between those, as is sort of customary for this time of year. And the radar is going to begin to show us just that. You already see some pretty strong thunderstorms blowing up as far south as, say, just north of Houston, all the way up through Memphis, St. Louis, Chicago, into parts of Ohio, even Cleveland getting in on some of the action. So this is a rather large, severe threat that's happening right now, as this active alert color book really shows you. And we're going to be breaking this down, so do not worry about seeing all of these colors here, although you do see a couple of pretty big deals right here with a couple of tornado warnings in parts of southeastern Missouri, as well as numerous severe weather watches. So what's the difference between these? Well, a watch is an indication of a risk of hazardous weather. This is issued out in advance of a potential severe weather event. And of course, when you see this issued in your area, always have a plan in case you do have a storm threatening. The warning is the much more immediate sort of scenario where an event is already occurring or is imminent or likely. And this is the case where you'll want to take action right when you see that issued, as in getting into your tornado safe space, for example. Here's the current warnings once again, and you see these two little red squares here in southeastern Missouri. These are the tornado warnings, with plenty of other severe activity going on in parts of Arkansas as well as Louisiana. For now, we'll start talking about some of the winter warnings also associated with this low, as we have a winter storm warning running through tomorrow morning. That includes Minneapolis, Green Bay, as for example, as two of the rather bigger metro areas. We could see some snowfall as well as some really bitter cold with this, despite it being April, of course. And a gale warning over Lake Michigan, which is rather interesting. We could be seeing winds in excess of 34 knots, which is rather intense, especially over the lake, as narrow as it is. Down in Oklahoma, where that front is passed, we're going to be looking at temperatures dipping down into potentially the 20s. Even as far south as northern Texas at this time of year. So this really shows you how powerful of a system this really is, as well as dumping plenty of rainfall. If you get these training thunderstorms, you could see a big risk of flash flooding. We currently have a flood warning active for many of the rivers from Illinois all the way down into parts of Louisiana. And again, here is the general watch box, with the yellow representing tornado watches stretched all the way from, say, Columbus, Ohio, down into southern Arkansas, as well as a severe thunderstorm watch covering parts of the southeast, including the southern portion of the Dallas metro area. We also have wind advisories behind the front, which is a rather common thing that you see here, with really strong winds building behind what's called a pressure gradient, basically just a very big contrast in pressure. Again, the severe thunderstorm watch extends from Jackson, Mississippi up through northern parts of the state, all the way into central Texas, with this tornado watch extending from Arkansas up through the Ohio Valley. So plenty going on nationally, and that's really going to be a trend for the rest of the night here, although things will start to settle down just a little bit tomorrow, although we are looking at a bit of a severe risk. Tonight's forecast, 38 degrees in Memphis, 36 in Kansas City, and part of that winter storm warning is the bitter cold up in Minnesota, 9 degrees for your low, and not even getting to the freezing point in the afternoon on April 4th in Minneapolis at 30 degrees. The cold starting to spread east, where you'll see some of those 40s and 50s for highs, even trying to extend down into the Tennessee Valley. But for now, we're going to go back to Michael to zoom into the southeast.
Yeah, it can still be cold in the middle of April, and that's really surprising how this year has been cold. But let's take a look at the southeast, where it is actually warm. It's in the 80s, mainly where you look, except in Shreveport and Little Rock, where you're actually at that cold front. You're getting some rain right now because of that cold front, so 65 and 68 up towards Little Rock. But down towards Tallahassee, again, you're at 82. But again, this is going to change as we go into tomorrow because of this cold front right here. You can see it's been spawning some severe weather, some severe thunderstorm warnings, and up towards the north in the Ohio River Valley, some tornado warnings. So it is a pretty serious severe weather threat because of this cold front. Now again, Jake pointed this out just a few minutes ago. We do have the yellow is a tornado watch. That means conditions are favorable for tornadoes to develop. You have the pink, which is a tornado, not a tornado, it's a severe thunderstorm watch, meaning that severe thunderstorms are likely to develop in that region. All this orange right here, those are severe thunderstorm warnings, so that means you can get winds up to 60 miles per hour and it can cause some damage. It doesn't have to be a tornado to cause serious damage. Those tiny red boxes up towards Missouri are tornado warnings. So if you're watching us from up there, you need to get to your lowest shelter, most interior room immediately, because that's a serious threat up there. Now, we did expect this. The storm outlook outlines a moderate risk up towards Memphis, just west of Nashville, up towards Louisville. When you go south into northern Mississippi, you had the enhanced risk, so the threat is slightly lower, but it's still a threat. Now, the yellow is a slight threat, meaning that it's more likely to have gusty winds and hail, and the tornado threat is pretty low, but you can't rule it out. And as you go, Tallahassee, you're not in the thunderstorm threat, but Mobile, you're in the marginal threat, so you are expecting thunderstorms out there. Tomorrow, this really weakens. As you can see, the only slight threat is up towards Raleigh. Tallahassee, we're only expecting general thunderstorms with this. Futurecast shows out this cold front pretty well. It strengthens as you go into Mississippi. Then it weakens as it goes into Alabama. By the time it hits Montgomery, it's pretty weaker than it was towards Jackson. Then it really weakens. Augusta, we're only expecting a few showers, so it looks like the par 3 contest won't be canceled like it was last year because of severe thunderstorms. And when we look towards Tallahassee, we are expecting a broken line of showers and thunderstorms to move through the region, and it's going to be a mainly cloudy, rainy day down towards our neck of the woods. Tonight, warm ahead of the cold front, cold behind it, and tomorrow much cooler in Georgia, Alabama, and northern Florida because of these showers and thunderstorms impacting our region. But for now, I'm going to send it back to the desk with Jake, and of course, the big story this week in the world of sports is the Masters.
Well, what did I tell you, Michael, about spoiling the golf forecast before we actually did the desk about it?
Yeah. Well.
This is what we're going to be talking about for the next couple of minutes here because, of course, it's Masters Week. A lot of us here are excited because we just had our Radar Cup golf outing the other day, which was an absolute blast, I have to say. But here's our forecast.
That forecast, again, Wednesday's a cold front as I was talking about. It is showing thunderstorms, but we're not expecting like it was last year where they actually had a tornado warning in the Augusta area. They had to cancel the par 3 contest because of it. This year it's not going to be the same severity.
Yeah, we're hoping that line of storms will be moving out before that. I love watching the par 3 contest. You get to see all the kids out there having fun with their parents and getting a few swings in there. But once the tournament starts, things are going to be clearing out, looking fantastic, although we could be looking potentially at some breezy conditions, at least for tomorrow.
Yeah, well, if you have any wind in Augusta, it's going to cause issues, especially in Amen Corner. That's the neck of the golf course where it can really cause havoc in everyone's mind. Even the best golfers in the world struggle in that part of the golf course.
We are most certainly not the best golfers in the world, but you'll be talking more about that later this week. So, of course, once again, we don't want to spoil too much for you here. But really, through the entirety of the weekend, although we are looking at potentially our next front coming in on Saturday, otherwise looking rather okay. I know this time of year when you get really cold front season across the southeast, it can be a big problem. But hopefully things are going to be shaping up rather nicely this time around.
Thursday looks a little chilly. But Friday's looking the best day so far. Saturday we do have to monitor because of that next cold front. It's looking one of those very unsettled days and could be a problem as we go into Saturday. We'll fine-tune that forecast in the next few days. But for now, let's send it out to Sarah with a final look at our local forecast.
Thanks, guys. So currently it was really hot outside. If you were going to your classes, it was really hot outside. I know I was sweating by the time I got to my classes. Currently, right now, it is 82 degrees. It is partly cloudy out. The winds are still coming from the south because we still are in that high pressure system, which is really going to be controlling our area for the meantime until tomorrow when we get that cold front coming through. As we see with the radar, we will see some scattered showers coming off in the Jacksonville, Gainesville area. That's why they were a bit cooler when you saw that around Florida. But right now, we're not seeing much, but that will change by tomorrow. So make sure when you go out to your classes and you go to work, make sure you bring your umbrella and drive safe as you get to your classes. And also, as we zoom out, where you can see where that cold front is really sitting at. We won't see it until Wednesday, so be prepared to be seeing the showers as you go into your workday and to classes. So make sure you bring your umbrella and your rain boots. temperatures right now, we're all in the 80s. Tallahassee's at 82. Bainbridge is climbing up there at 84, and a bit cooler down at the coast at Apalachicola. So we're really seeing these warm temperatures. They're not going to stick around once this cold front moves through, bringing these temperatures down at bay. So if you are not, you're getting tired of the warm temperatures, don't worry, it'll cool down. That high pressure system, as I said, is still sitting around in our area. That's why these winds are coming up from the south, but they are picking up as that cold front is approaching our area, which will shift these winds to the north, which will bring us more drier dew points. So make sure you have your chapstick when you go out through your for tomorrow. As for the futurecast, we will see fog come up into the morning like we did see this morning. So the fog will play a threat into the morning, so make sure you go into your classes, you drive safe as you go into your roads. But by the time we get into the afternoon time, that's when that cold front will really come through, bringing a lot of that showers. So make sure, as I said, have an umbrella, rain boots. It will be a wet one. But it will clear out by the evening time. The cloud cover will stick around, so the evening low might be a little bit warmer as today. Right now we're going to be, tonight's forecast is in the 60s, so not too cold, not too hot. 62 in Tallahassee, 61 in Quincy. Bainbridge again up there at 64, and Apalachicola at 67, a little bit warmer, but pretty nice lows for the evening. Tomorrow we're going to have that, as I said, that cool down. 74 for Tallahassee, 71 in Quincy, and 73 in Apalachicola. So we're going to see some nicer, cooler temps if you're getting tired of it. But we're going to see that rain chance stick around for Wednesday, and we're going to have a slight warm up as we get onto the weekend for more chances of some more frontal systems coming into our way. So stay tuned to the show to see what will affect our area. But pretty nice temperatures throughout. But for now, I'm going to set it over to the desk to end the show.
Thanks, Sarah. And Jake, the main story for the next 24 hours is that cold front moving through.
Yeah, and cold fronts have really been the common theme here on this time of year. We're starting to work towards the summer where that's going to be going away. But before that, spring wants to give us one last really rush of... We're going to be seeing 3 cold fronts in the span of 7 days, as the 7-day shows you.
Yeah, Wednesday is like, again, a cloudy, dreary kind of day. Saturday's looking like a similar story. We'll see about Monday, but it's the... So cold front after cold front after cold front, it's like,
don't forget to give Tuesday a 70% chance of rain,
and
some
Tuesday.
love too. Yeah, Thursday and Friday though, if you need to get outside or or you're feeling like you're cooped up studying and all that, those are going to be the 2 days where you're looking in good shape. Although it's going to be a rather chilly morning when you're going to campus on Thursday because guess what? Cold fronts. Shocker.
Yeah, cold front, FROPA, as Jake likes to. We all like saying FROPA. So yeah.
I promise in the next month or two we're going to stop seeing these things coming on so often as we start to work towards sea breeze afternoon thunderstorm season, which is of course like 3 or 4 months long.
Yeah, we're going to get into that eventually. Once the afternoon thunderstorms where it's sunny in the morning and then boom, there you get the afternoon thunderstorms.
If you're a fan of cold weather, this is one of your last chances to really experience that. So appreciate that 7-day while it's there, especially that 44 hanging out down there. I definitely do. I'm a northern guy. I have to give it some love.
Yeah, again, it's going to be one of those active periods. We did have a pretty quiet period last week, but now it's becoming more active with, again, 3 cold fronts in a span of 7 days.
For all of our sarcasm, of course, Florida really needs this rain. So this is definitely good to be having these systems coming in rather consistently.
Yeah, part of our region's still in the drought, even though Tallahassee isn't.
Exactly. For all of our social media, if you want to give us a follow, we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. You really name it, and I think you know our handle by now.
Yep, at FSU Weather. It's pretty... we show this every night. There you go with the Instagram, at FSU Weather. Again, perfect picks about the fog this morning if you want anything else. Yep.
Yeah. For all of us here at FSU Weather, I'm meteorologist Jay Karstens.
And I'm student meteorologist Mike Lonan.
Have a great
night.